Are you all right? You look a little frightened. Methinks you've just had a nightmare. Now, nightmares caused by your own overactive imagination, well, they're bad enough. But if you're looking for an antidote to your terror, I would strongly advise that you don't play the good nightmare. Because let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, nightmares caused by imagination are bad enough. But the stories in this podcast are all true. And you know what the maxim is. Truth is stranger than fiction.
Hello and welcome to Good Nightmare, a podcast where we have just turned 1. That's right, this is the first anniversary of Good Nightmare, and also it's my birthday. So to honour this momentous occasion, I've decided to share with you in a more candid episode one of the recurring nightmares from my childhood. As well as this, I've also had some lovely people send in birthday messages and podcast anniversary messages. I would love for each of you to check out their podcasts and say hi to them on their social media. You may have noticed today's intro was a little bit different. That was brought to you by one of my great friends, Michael, who completely spontaneously put together this epic Halloween special introduction for me, and I decided to feature it on today's episode. Michael is a professional voice actor, and I'll play his promo at the end of the episode so you can get into contact with him if you're looking for any voice acting for your podcast. Some of you may know that my podcast was named Good Nightmare because of the chronic nightmares that I suffer from. If you've been following me on Twitter for a very long time, you may remember once a while ago, I posted that I woke up and cried because for the first time in my memory, I had a sleep that I didn't remember a single thing from. No nightmare, no dream. It was the first time in years that I actually felt rested. My nightmares tend to be lucid, violent, and as with anyone's brain during sleep, there's no differentiation between what's real and what's not. I have experienced nightmares where I've been shot, bled to death, been gutted, been choked to death, fallen from great heights and hit the landing. And most recently, last night in fact, dreamt that I had to take down an assailant, which meant brutally stabbing him. The only thing that reassured me that this was in fact a very lucid dream was that there was no blood. Thank God. I have many, many, many memories of recurring nightmares from my childhood, and this is one of the ones that first really scared me, so it's the one that I decided to share with you. This is what I would consider a bad nightmare, one that caused me great distress when I was awake. A good nightmare is one that may be violent and scary, but is more like living in a horror movie. More entertainment and less pain. This nightmare started when I was around, I'd say about 7 years old. I was still young enough to run to my parents' bed when I woke up from it. Nowadays, I freak out my boyfriend when I wake up gasping or trying to yell. I dreamt that my parents had gone out for the evening, and my sister must have been floating somewhere around the house, but she was never quite present in the dreams. I was small enough that my head only just came above the bench top in the kitchen, and we had a babysitter. She was someone that I'd never seen before in my life. in real life, our babysitter was usually our next door neighbour, who was cool and older than us and had really awesome 90s memorabilia, although at the time it was just 90s stuff. This babysitter was different. She must have been mid-30s. She had dark hair and freckles, and long, slender fingers. I'd walked out from my bedroom down the hallway into the kitchen to see what she was cooking, and placed my hands on the bench and peeked over the top to where she had a cutting board and a fry pan set out. I asked her what was for dinner. She told me that we were having chips. She was going to pan fry them. I'd never seen that done before, so I decided to watch while she cooked. And to my absolute horror and disgust, she took the largest kitchen knife she could find, and while smiling at me, she cut off each of her fingers and placed them in the fry pan. I wasn't at an age where I was reading Stephen King or watching horror movies. I have no idea where my brain came up with this, or many of the other recurring nightmares that I had around this age. But it stuck with me, and it went on for weeks. Funny story, and I don't remember if I've told my parents this, so if you're listening, Mum, here's a new little tidbit for you. When I was little, I was so worried about upsetting anyone else, which is very much still a part of my personality, that I told my parents about this nightmare and that I was so scared, and I slept in their bed. And then, as I said, as it recurred over the weeks, I kind of got worried that my parents might be worrying about the nightmare being too scary or that they might be afraid of it, because someone cutting off their own fingers and feeding them to a small child is kind of terrifying at any age. So I distinctly remember I actually told my parents, "Oh, I went back and I had the same dream again, except this time everything was okay. So no one needs to worry anymore. She's not cutting off her fingers, and she's fine, and I'm fine." Needless to say, I had that dream multiple times after that point. My chronic nightmares often cause me sleeplessness, insomnia, fear and anxiety during my waking hours, and sometimes hallucinations. I'll often wake up during the night after a bad dream and I'll see spiders right above my face most of the time. Sometimes it's scary, but sometimes it just gives David a good chuckle, especially when I wake up and I'm freaking out trying to say spider, spider, and I can't get the words out because my body is half asleep but my brain is awake. And I'm pointing to a wall that is completely blank. And he's just trying to reassure me that there's definitely nothing there. I have so many of these childhood nightmares that I remember distinctly and that would happen every other night that I ended up naming them. That one I just called the babysitter. One of them that I tend not to share was called Meat Baby and was as horrific as it sounds. Another was called The Jungle, which was set in a jungle, as you can imagine, and very strange. I might save that one for another time. There was another dream that I might share before I get onto the birthday messages, and that was called The Towers, and this was really strange. I was at my school, and it was the time of year that we had the bazaar, or a fete, or a fair, you might call them. I had a little green plastic whistle that I'd won, and I was walking around with my mum and dad. And there was this kind of alcove between the bathrooms and a classroom. There were drinking taps there, and it was just a really nice, cool area to play in summer. This particular day, though, in this particular nightmare, there were identical twin towers, except one was slightly smaller than the other. They were circular, kind of, like you'd see on the turret of a castle. And there were little tiny people inside the towers, hanging out of the windows and yelling. And the strange part where it gets really weird is that cutting down these two twin towers with chainsaws were a big and a small hamburglar, the character from McDonald's, just cutting through these towers with these people in them. I can't even explain how fucking strange that dream was. I had that one over a series of weeks or months, I think. And it's weird how much detail that I can remember from these, even though they were so long ago. If you want to write in and tell me about your creepy, strange or unusual nightmares and have them shared as a bonus episode, feel free. And if you'd like me to tell you about more of my nightmares, perhaps in a more narrative way, let me know, because that's something that I've been thinking of adding to the podcast, given it all originated from me needing an outlet for my nightmarish nights and my anxiety-riddled days. That being said, the one perk of having nightmares every night is having them be lucid and having at least some semblance of control. And now, on that exciting note, on to the birthday messages from some great friends that I've made through podcasting. You guys have lifted me up whenever I needed support and helped me stay focused on the things that matter. And to everyone who's listening, whether it's this year or next year, whether you've been listening from the start or this is the first episode you've heard, thank you for tuning in. Now, before I get too sappy and this gets too long, like I said about 2 minutes ago, on to the birthday messages. And don't forget to stay tuned to hear from Michael. He is an incredibly talented friend. And until next time, good nightmares. Or just sweet dreams.
Hi, this is 33% Pulp, and we are here to say Happy Birthday!
Happy birthday!
That came out all spooky, but maybe that's fitting for her podcast. But congratulations on your first podcast birthday.
Congratulations. Happiest of birthdays.
Yes, to you and the pod.
Sarah, hey, this is Kate from Ignorance Was Bliss. Happy birthday. A whole year old. That's like, what, 10 years old in dog years? Do podcasts do that? I don't know. Anyway, congratulations. You're amazing. And I consider myself lucky to be able to listen to your show and to call you a real friend.
Hello, this is Ben from Mysteries and Urban Legends.
And this is Alex from Mysteries and Urban Legends.
And we just wanted to wish Good Nightmares a happy 1-year podiversary.
We think that your pod is so awesome and you've had a wonderful year, and we hope you have many more to come.
Congratulations.
Yay!
Hi, this is Cambo from True Crime Island, and happy birthday to Sarah from Good Nightmare Podcast. Let's hope you have many more happy birthdays. Boom fagalanga.
Hey, happy birthday, Good Nightmare, from your friends at Nightlight, the horror podcast.
Hey everyone, this is Kim from the People Are Wild podcast, wishing the Good Nightmares podcast a happy birthday. Happy birthday from all of us to you. I really don't have any cake, so I guess this'll have to do. Happy birthday, Good Nightmares. Keep on keeping on.
Hello, everyone.
My name is Jim.
My name is Kit Karen, and we are the hosts of the Forgotten News podcast.
But right now, we are going to talk about the Good Nightmare podcast and Sarah, the awesome host. Sarah is an amazing and insightful narrator, and the stories are incredibly diverse and always interesting. Who would have thought that nightmares could be a good thing?
Hey, nightmares can be good. For instance, just listen to this quote from the classic mystery writer G.K. Chesterton. There is nothing so delightful as a nightmare when you know it is a nightmare. Therefore, I see no wrong in riding with the nightmare tonight. She whinnies to me. I will catch her and ride her. We will rise to that mad infinite, where there is neither up nor down, the high topsy-turvy of the heavens. I will answer the call of chaos and night. I will ride the nightmare.
Wow, Kit, you really nailed it. And if you ask me, that is a perfect way to think about the Good Nightmare podcast.
Congratulations on the first anniversary of the Good Nightmare podcast.
Congratulations, Sarah. I hope that your show has many more years and many more episodes.
Hey, this is Bella. Happy anniversary. I am so proud of you. You're doing such an amazing job, and I am so pleased to call you my best friend. You are so amazing, and I love you. Also, Willow and Winston say hi.
Hello to you all. My name is Michael Marshall. I'm from Australia, and I'm a voice actor. I want to thank the excellent producer of this podcast for giving me a little bit of time to talk to each and every one of you. What I have done today is to come on to this podcast and shamelessly promote my services. If you have a podcast or anything in between where you're looking for an actor who can do a range of different voices, well, you have found one in me. Now, I don't want you to take my word for it. For those on Facebook, go to the search bar, type in Michael Marshall Voice Artist, take a look at my page, have a listen to the demos, a good listen, and if you like what I'm doing, please give my page a like and some shares if you want. And if you want to use me, or just have a question for me about, well, anything really, send me a message. It's near the top of the page. I've got a nice little send message button, and ask away. Now, don't worry, I am not just confined to Facebook. Now, for those of you who are on YouTube, if you type in Michael Marshall Voice Actor, yes, I'm pretty sure that's what I've called myself on there, you will find my YouTube channel. It's not a massive channel, but it's got all the demos and things that are also on my Facebook page for those that don't want to get into the whole Facebook thing. And you can contact me through there. I believe my email's displayed, and there should be a send message button on YouTube if they haven't taken it away. And if you're on LinkedIn, you can also find me under Michael Marshall Voice Actor. So please have a look, have a listen, have a like, have a share. And if you ever want to know more about me, drop me a line on any of the aforementioned platforms, including Twitter as well. I should put that in, at MMarshallVOA. That's capital M, ARSHALL, capital V, capital O, capital A. And you can talk to the voice actor who is totally blind. That's right, blind as a bat, absolutely no sight. Dear, dear, dear me, time is getting on, and I'm sure there are many of you wringing your hands, screaming, crying, tearing out your hair, smashing your head against the walls, wondering, oh God, when's my podcast coming back on? This guy just never stops talking. Don't worry, calm yourself. You'll be back with your podcast right about now. And thank you very much to you all for taking the time to listen. And thank you to the owner of this tremendous podcast for giving me a bit of time to come on and have a bit of a waffle on to all of you excellent listeners. Thank you very much to you all. And for those that want to talk to me or work with me or anything else, I look forward very much to chatting with you.